So we've obviously spent a lot of time already talking about Tarik Skubal, but what about the rest of the AL Central? We'll comb through the Tigers, Royals, Twins, Guardians, and White Sox rosters for trade fits coming up. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, November 6, 2025. This is Dane Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Today's show will mostly be an AL Central trade preview, but the Mariners did make one real trade yesterday that we want to quickly touch on. The Mariners have acquired right-handed pitcher Cole Wilcox from the Tampa Bay Rays. He was DFA'd back on Monday, and the Mariners are sending back to Tampa everyone's favorite player, cash considerations. Wilcox, former third-round draft pick of the Padres out of the University of Georgia in 2020, so he was a teammate of Emerson Hancock. And he was traded along with three other players to the Rays for Blake Snell. Now all of those players that came back to Tampa and that package are gone with Wilcox's trade. And funny enough, the Mariners have two of those four guys, Blake Hunt being the other one. So any thoughts on Cole Wilcox, Colby? I mean, he might just be 40-man fodder. He could be one of the guys that they have in the pile going into spring training.
Yeah, not a ton of information out there, at least statistically. He only had the one major league outing. He got roughed up pretty good in it. And then you have minor league numbers that show it's okay. Like there's some skills there. He misses some bats. The strike throwing kind of comes and goes a little bit. So the one thing I did notice, and I think this is the one thing of note, is that he only just got converted to a reliever this last year. He has a ton of innings and a ton of starts in the minor leagues. And so it'll be interesting to see if the Mariners see him as a potential bullpen arm or as, you know, that 6th, 7th, 8th type of starter that they can stash down in AAA and call up to make the spot starts, especially if they want to move Hancock to the bullpen full time. They're going to want to replace that role. And I don't think they want to replace that with, you know, necessarily a Cade Anderson, certainly not Cade Anderson yet, or Senja yet. So, you know, this is probably a guy who doesn't survive the entire year on the 40-man. There's a decent chance he doesn't even survive the winter on the 40-man. But yeah, it's an interesting arm. He was a third-round pick, but he got first-round money. He was, you know, grossly overslot. He got like $3 million signing bonus. Extremely talented, big stuff. Sinker, slider type of guy, a sweeper as well. Kind of differentiate the two of them. Yeah, if you look at his, you know, his minor league savant page, above average whiff rates, above average, you know, exit velos and stuff like that. So there might be something here. And anytime the Mariners claim an arm that has some kind of upside attached to it, you wonder if there's a pitch mix thing or if there's a, you know, an arm slot thing that they can do to maybe make something pop here. So again, it probably cost them $50,000 to go out and take this shot on a guy. And he, I think he'll probably start the year as a AAA starter, and they'll keep him, you know, stretched out in case they need innings earlier in the year like they did this last year. And it'll just be, he'll probably be behind Logan Evans if Logan Evans survives the winter on the Mariners 40-man as well. Might be traded, probably not, but maybe. So yeah, I think it's just org depth. I think he'll probably be in the Tacoma rotation. But if the Mariners really think they see a tweak that they can implement right away, maybe get more out of that fastball, then I think that is definitely a path that they will consider as well.
Yep, he's another sinker, slider / sweeper guy, 28-degree arm angle. He's a Mariner pitcher for sure. And yeah, that one appearance that he made at the major league level did not go well at all. He let's just say he faced 12 Red Sox hitters. He got 3 outs. Yeah, not particularly good. But yeah, we'll see if they you know, they have something here to work on with him, or maybe he just gets DFA'd in a month. Who knows? It's one of those type of guys. So we'll see. All right. So let's kick off our AL Central trade preview, and we'll talk about the Tigers here to start because we've already talked about the biggest name that potentially might go here for the Tigers. That's Tarik Skubal.
Matt Bierling. Oh, sure.
Right. I believe the Tigers are one of 3 teams Jerry Dipoto has not traded with during his time in Seattle. So if the Mariners and Tigers link up on a trade, that would knock off one of those 3 teams. The other 2 obviously being the Rockies and the Angels. I'm going to assume the Angels are just forever going to be in that category until proven otherwise, like we talked about yesterday.
Well-run baseball teams do. They just ignore a good trade partner just out of spite.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally normal organization.
So obviously the Mariners knocked out the Tigers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Tigers still, even if they trade Skubal, I think they're going to try and be competitive to some degree in 2026.
Yeah.
So not sure what exactly they would be willing to trade off of their major league roster outside of Skubal. Anything stand out to you here? Yeah, I know that's such a funny thing to say,
stupid.
But
so stupid. We're not
if they actually trade him.
That's our best player.
Yeah. That's if they actually trade him, that's mind-blowing.
I don't know how you can read anything other than they want to trade him based on the contract proposal they gave him last winter, which was a joke. Was it 4 and 80? I think was what it finally came out as. Like, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For 4 years, Skubal should be making at least $130 million, even with a year to go till free agency. So, outside of Skubal, I mean, assuming that they're not doing some kind of mini teardown or anything like that, so probably Will Vest isn't available, but somebody like that. Obviously, there's always bullpen arms that you could be interested in. Matt Bierling is kind of interesting. We kind of looking ahead. It looks like they might want a right-handed or might need a right-handed hitting infield option, kind of a Dylan Moore replacement, if you will. And Bierling kind of checks those boxes. So maybe he's the guy that makes some sense. Also, in that same vein, Andy Ibanez, a guy we talk about kind of a lot for like a role player on this show. Yeah. We've mentioned him quite a few times. But yeah, I don't think they're going to trade any of their other starters. So yeah, I think it's Skubal, and then after that it's Bierling, it's Andy Ibanez. I don't think you're going to get like Colt Keith or anything like that. Don't know if that would even be a fit. Torkelson, after his breakout year, he's not available. Well, probably not available, and you hope to sign Josh Naylor. So, yeah, I think it's just a couple of like platoon or like role playing righties, role players who hit right-handed, and maybe a Will Vest type. But I don't think that they're going to trade any of their high leverage bullpen guys.
Yeah, I mean, Jahmai Jones would be fun to pair him up with someone. But they're so platoon dependent, and that's just kind of how AJ Hinch wants to operate his offense. So I can't imagine that they would take away from that. I mean, he was their best right-handed hitter off of the.
I'd overpay for Kerry Carpenter just to get him off of that team.
Sure, yeah, and also he's a very good hitter.
Yeah.
I would love one of their lefties out of the bullpen, either Holton or Herter. I'd prefer Herter over Holton, but Herter's missed more bats. So, but I would love either one of those guys. But yeah, I can't imagine that because again, it just seems like even if they trade Skubal, they're going to want to try and compete. So I can't imagine that anyone else is too available.
Yeah, you just attach them to the Skubal trade. Just be like, either I get Herter in this deal or I don't want Skubal. That's a totally believable line they could use.
Yeah, that'll totally work. They should definitely try doing that.
Yeah. Kerry Carpenter gets in this deal or you don't get Dom Canzone. Dom Canzone is just younger Kerry Carpenter and cheaper too. Although they might be literally the same age. I don't know. Dom's kind of like 28 years old, right?
Yeah, Kerry is 28 years old right now. And yeah, Dom is 27.
Yeah, so. Well, whatever. But yeah, Skubal's obviously the name to watch here. And then there's always, a couple of bench bats, platoon bats, and then maybe a bullpen arm or two, but not a ton here for Detroit once you get past Skubal.
Yeah. Dominic Canzone technically had better numbers than Kerry Carpenter, was also worth the same amount of F4 this year. Chills. We cracked the code.
Cheaper.
All right. We are going to look at the 4 other teams in the AL Central in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is once again brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. As always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, we have a Patreon. It's called Control the Zone, and on there we talk Mariners, Seahawks, all that good stuff. For more information, go to patreon.com/Control the Zone. Link in the description. So let's turn our attention here to the Kansas City Royals, Colby. Royals team that had higher hopes for this past season after making the playoffs last year and actually winning a round. They wound up finishing 82-80. They had a bunch of injuries that they dealt with. Still got fantastic seasons out of Bobby Witt Jr. and Michael Garcia. Vinny Pasquantino took another step. But pretty much after those 3 guys, it was yikes city for the Royals offense. And then again, like I mentioned, they had a lot of injuries in the rotation. Cole Reagans missed a good chunk of the year, for example. So I imagine this is a team that's just going to look to try and retool and get back to the postseason this year. But anyone stand out as a potential trade target?
Yeah, like Michael Garcia is a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I didn't see a ton when I looked at this roster. It's not that the Royals don't have, interesting players and good players. It's just, are those players that they'd be willing to move at this stage, to Seattle? I don't really think so. Like, some starting pitching would be nice, but also the Royals don't spend a lot and they are going to try and compete next year. I think we know that. So they're probably not really all that interested in moving any of their starting pitching. Just the standard kind of bullpen arms. I've always kind of been fascinated by MJ Melendez, but I feel like that ship has just sailed. Like it's just not going to happen. And he's not honestly better than Dominic Canzone.
I think he got sent down this year too.
Yeah. So. He's basically Dominic Canzone, which I don't need another one of those guys. Yeah, honestly, not a ton here to look at. Did you come up with anybody?
I mean, Lucas Urseg, John Schreiber, some of the guys in the bullpen.
The classic bullpen arms.
Yeah, Angel Zerpa, I know, is someone that I've seen some Mariners fans mention in like their individual offseason plans or just offseason discussions. It's just, I mean, the offense for the Royals last year was just so bad. I mean, like, we know that the Mariners have had interest in Jonathan India, but do they really want to try that? Like,
you probably just wait for him to get non-tendered and give him a shorter or a cheaper contract. Like we've talked about him a little bit. I don't think he's available, but Vinny Pasquantino is kind of a popular name as well. But he had a breakout year, particularly in the second half in the power department. So it seems unlikely that they would move him. And then I mean,
remember when we were talking about him and I was like, yeah, he doesn't really hit for traditional first base power, and then he wound up hitting like 30 bombs. I think he had like 11 at the time that we had that conversation.
And
then
around the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So then he went nuts. But yeah, there's just not a ton here. There's nothing in the outfield. Like you said, Jonathan India, I think it's just time to give up on that. They've already declined the option on Lorenzen. So that's not really an option. I think it is.
He hit 20 homers and 24 doubles from July 1st onward.
Yeah. So it's Urseg, it's Zerpa, it's the guys that you mentioned, just the bullpen guys. There's just not a lot here to add to the lineup, and all rotation trades are kind of working under the assumption that they're trading like Luis Castillo. So
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. Like Michael Wacha right now doesn't make a lot of sense, but if they traded Castillo, would Wacha make sense? Sure.
Yeah. All right, the Minnesota Twins, and we're going to start with a favorite of yours here, Royce Lewis. Oft injured, as we all know, but the talent is immense. Former first overall pick, but last couple of years, numbers wise, haven't been particularly good. 237, 283, 388 in 106 games this year. That's an 85 WRC plus. And then 2024 in 82 games, he slashed 233, 295, 452. That's 106 WRC plus. I mean, the slugging there is great, but everything else not so much. I mean, it's not hard to see why people are still dreaming on Royce Lewis at times. Like this, there are moments even over the last couple of years with in spite of those numbers that I just listed where he's really popped. And it's like, man, if that guy could just stay healthy.
Yeah. Right now, your starting third baseman is Ben Williamson.
Yeah.
So let's not scoff at the offensive numbers of another third baseman.
Sure.
Lewis also pretty good defender. I mean, he's no Ben Williamson, but he's pretty good. Very strong arm. And yeah, the power, it's 30, 40 home run power from the right side pretty easily. He's still young. The one thing that, I mean, aside from the big thing, which is the injuries, there is this kind of perception that the Twins are kind of tired of him in terms of, his attitude. Now, this might be fan driven. There's a lot of fans out there who think like he just chases his numbers and he doesn't care about his teammates. And it's like, okay, like if he gets his numbers, he's helping his teammates, but like whatever. Yeah. But there have been, murmurs that the actual Twins, like the front office and all that, they're kind of like ready to move on from Royce Lewis as well, which is good because he'll be significantly cheaper than he would have been last year or even the year before that because he has less club control. And also there's this kind of dark cloud hanging over him. And he hasn't really produced when he has been healthy the last few years, at least not to a degree that a lot of teams are going to feel really comfortable giving him a shot. But I think when you look at what's out there at third base in the free agent market, when you look at what the Mariners have on hand, we have to talk about guys like Josh Young and Royce Lewis, guys that you have to kind of take a shot on and hope that they rebound or they produce or that you develop because the alternative is Ben Williamson, who, as far as I know, can't hit at the major league level. Sure. Now, maybe that changes. I know the swing change, and everybody wants to believe the swing change is going to change everything, but there's still no bat speed there. There's still not a lot of pop there. AAA numbers are not going to fool me. You have to do this at the big league level. So, and hey, you know what? If you trade for Royce Lewis, Ben Williamson's probably going to get some time at third base at some point during the year, right? So you can prove it then. Yeah. But Lewis's upside is immense, and the salary is going to be way down. I think the cost to acquire is going to be way down. So that's a lottery ticket I'm definitely willing to take a shot on.
I would do terrible things for Byron Buxton to have him on my club. Like things I cannot mention on this show.
Well, but he's got the no trade.
He's got the no trade. And as recent as the All-Star game, he said that he wants to be a Twin. So that ship has probably sailed. I mean, it was probably never at the dock to begin with. But maybe, because he did make that statement before the Twins traded literally everyone. Maybe now he's more open to the possibility of playing elsewhere. But I mean, God, I know like outfield isn't the biggest need on this roster, but God, Byron Buxton is just so good at baseball.
Yeah, Byron Buxton's a really fun player. It's one of those huge cases like he could have just stayed healthy. Like he's still a really good player despite all the injuries, but man, if he could have just stayed healthy. But it's worth having the conversation, or at least asking.
Yeah,
it certainly is with the upside. I'm going to throw a couple names out there that nobody's really talking about, but we should be. If the Mariners are actually very much interested in a Tarik Skubal type, and they're willing to pay that price to go get a starter when I think most people would say like, the rotation, not really a need. It's be nice to add. Then they should probably be willing to talk about Joe Ryan, who is, 3 years, I believe, of club control. It might be 2. I'm trying to remember how many he had in the summer.
2.
Yeah, but He's not Tarik Skubal, obviously. He's like a number 3 starter who misses bats, though. He gives
and
you
he's the arm profile that they love.
Right. And so it's one of those things where it's like he checks a lot of boxes. If you're willing to give up major prospect capital for 1 year of Skubal, if you don't get him, you should be willing to pivot to Ryan, because not only is the cost probably going to be pretty similar, I would think. You get him for 2 years. And hypothetically, let's say that, Kate Anderson's ready to go for 2027. What do you do in the rotation? Well, I guess you trade Joe Ryan next winter for, 60% of what you gave up to get him, and you roll with that.
Or you trade Kirby, you trade Gilbert.
Right. You maybe extend Ryan. So if they're willing to talk about Skubal, then they should be willing to talk about Ryan, especially if they do Luis Castillo. I think Joe Ryan would be a phenomenal
What
fit.
about Pablo?
Pablo's also up there. Again, the money is a little bit more. It's like on par with Luis, so you're not saving a ton there. And also, I know you hate him, but Bailey Ober is a pretty good, number 4, number 3 type. The Twins still have some starting pitching to deal. And I can't imagine they think they're going to compete this year, so they should be willing to trade a couple of those arms and just kind of roll with their young guys and see what they can do. But keep an eye on the Twins. I think they're a pretty good fit on a lot of fronts here for the Mariners. So particularly if they do trade Luis Castillo, I would zero in on Joe Ryan because they should be aggressive there.
Yeah. If the Mariners wind up trading, Luke Raley and or Dominic Canzone this winter, I would also be kind of interested in Trevor Larnach. I've always liked him. He didn't have the best of years this year. He was like a 102 WRC plus, but I've always liked him. So
maybe a Cody Clemens type.
Yeah.
You want to believe in the breakout. There's some pieces here and some pretty significant ones, and they should be a selling team this winter. So
the Mariners obviously have a history of trading.
That too.
And then there's
they had the deep conversations on Duran, so they know who the Twins like. So they already kind of have a jump start on those conversations. So
exactly. There's still a couple of guys left in the bullpen that are kind of interesting. Justin Topa, obviously. Cole Sands is another guy. It's kind of interesting. So I don't know. Cody Funderburk, who's a lefty. Mariners could use another lefty in the bullpen, so I'd be done. So there's a lot of options here with the Twins. I think the AL Central, I know we didn't talk about a lot from the Tigers and the Royals, but I think the AL Central is going to be one of the trade previews we have that produces the most names where we're that's possible. So and I think we'll talk about more here when we switch gears to Cleveland in just a moment. But first, a reminder: this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. And if you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. It's our AL Central trade preview. We've talked about the Tigers, Royals, and Twins. Now let's talk about the Cleveland Guardians. And we're talking about the Guardians. We have to start with Steven Kwan. It's been the subject of trade rumors for the last few months, dating back to the deadline. Deadline morning, it was reported that the league thought he was going to get traded. And then he wound up staying put in Cleveland, and then they got red hot. They wound up winning the Central, and then got eliminated in the wild card round. So Kwan, I assume those trade talks are going to heat right back up now for him. And he's someone that, again, while outfield isn't the biggest need on the Mariners, it is a need that we've talked about. It's a sneaky need for the Mariners. maybe it's not the place that you would imagine that they would add maybe the biggest name that they add all off season, which I think Kwan would have a very good chance of being. But Kwan's a fascinating player. He's obviously a fantastic defender. He's a guy that puts the ball in play a lot. He would be a true leadoff hitter, which I think is another kind of sneaky need for the Mariners this winter. So what do you think that would cost?
Kwan, I think, will cost you roughly the Randy Arozarena package. Kwan's a better defender. Randy's a significantly better offensive player. Kwan just had kind of an average offensive season by WRC plus, but he is an elite defender with a great arm in the corners. Probably get away with playing center field and not really skip much of a beat. And he makes a ton of contact. So they're not that similar, but I think at the end of the day, when you look at the production, regardless of how they do it, both of them are about a 3-win player, maybe 4 on the high end. Kwan's probably got a little bit more of a floor than Randy because of the defense, but you also got Randy for 3 playoff runs, and Kwan, whoever gets him, is getting Kwan for 2 playoff runs. So I think the price is going to be roughly the same. Now, people look at Brody Hopkins and Aiden Smith, and they're like, well, those guys weren't top 100 guys, and it's like, yeah, but like Hopkins was trending that way.
Depending on who you ask.
Right. So, and by the way, like it's really tough to be like, oh, well, you don't give up top 100 guys. Like the Mariners' top 10 prospects are all at least fringe top 100 guys. So like you're going like, there's not really that second class of like the second tier for the Mariners is like Teddy McGraw and Ty Pete. And
there's a pretty
like
drop off.
Yeah. So you're going to have to give up a couple top 100 guys, I would think, but probably like back end of your top 100 guys, St. Joe's, the Arroyos, Harry Ford. Those are kind of the back end of the top 100 guys. But I think it's going to cost you at least one of them, maybe 2. And it might only cost you 1 because you might be able to do kind of bulk on the back end, which is something Cleveland is known to do. So, but I think the Randy Arozarena trade is the starting point.
All right. Jose Ramirez.
Whatever they want. Pick 3 prospects. They're yours.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not hyperbole. Pick any 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I would do it in a heartbeat. But I think he's in Cleveland forever.
Yeah. Such a
I don't think Cade Smith is something the Mariners would be willing to spend a ton of resources on.
No.
So that idea is out of the window. But there is, spoiler alert, potentially one of these bullpen arms in our offseason plan.
And you'll have to subscribe to the Patreon to find out which one.
Or, just wait like a week until we announce the plan on here.
Probably like 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are bullpen arms here still, even with Clase, doing his best Eddie Seacott impression. There's still quite a few bullpen arms here that make sense as well. Hunter Gaddis, Matt Festa. Those are a couple of guys that make some sense here. There's some Tim Herron. There's the who's the other lefty? Now I'm blanking.
Eric Sabrowski.
Yes, thank you. There's some lefties here. There's some righties here. There's a good mix of missing bats. And I know some people like to scoff at Matt Festa, Ty. But look at the numbers. He was basically Hunter Gaddis last year. And I don't think anybody is throwing a fit if the Mariners spent some resources to acquire Hunter Gaddis. So maybe don't turn your nose up at Matt Festa if he is available. So, there's some bullpen arms here, but then offensively, it's Kwan. And, I mean, it would be Ramirez, but he's not available. So it's Kwan. And then the rotation, I'm good.
What about David Fry, who had his face exploded by Tarik Skubal, unfortunately.
Make them teammates.
And, was obviously coming off of Tommy John this past year, so he wasn't able to play in the field, but he should be able to this year at some point, 2026. So,
versatile player. Hits lefties pretty well. Not this year. This year was just a bad year for him. kind of on and off the field. Well, I guess the bad stuff happened to him on the field too, but
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. Sure.
Yeah.
David Fry would be fun. No
He
idea
was
what
a
it would cost.
Yeah, he was a 63 WRC plus this year, but 129 in 2024, and obviously had that big postseason moment for them. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know what it would cost though, because like in theory, you would be buying low, especially with all the injuries and the bad year that he's coming off of.
He's 30 years old too.
Yeah, but he's also only just now hitting arbitration. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little tough to find a spot for him. You have Manzardo and Kafis kind of at first base and DH, and then obviously you have Ramirez at third base. So you want to stick him in a corner outfield spot. Well, there's only one, so long as you have Kwan. So maybe is he ARB eligible?
Yeah, he just hit ARB.
Okay, so not too expensive yet, but yeah, maybe I would watch Cleveland for a bullpen arm. That's where I would be watching them. Kwan is interesting as well. The Mariners probably should have some interest there to some degree. We talked about this on the Patreon. There's like 3 guys who are very similar offensive profiles to Kwan that make a lot of sense for the Mariners, and it feels like the Mariners should go get one of them, which we also did in our offseason plan. Jose Ramirez.
Is this the winner? The Mariners finally trade for Luis Robert, Colby?
No.
The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not.
No.
Especially not at $20 million.
No. God, no.
Yeah, no.
I can't believe the White Sox butchered that as badly as they did, by the way. I mean, you know what? Yes, I can't believe that. Yeah, actually, I take that back.
Yeah, and he wasn't good in the second half either.
It's funny. He had like
287, 402 from August 1st onward.
From like the 2 weeks from the deadline or from the All-Star break to the deadline, he was like really good. Yeah. And then like it carried over for like 3 days after the deadline. People were like, "Oh, see the White Sox, they were smart. Now they're," and then he just cratered again. It's like, it's never going to happen for the White Sox. They needed to trade this guy 2 years ago. Yeah, they screwed up. I'm not interested anymore. I'll sign him in as a free agent in 2027 for like $8 million and give him a shot then. Yeah.
So in the bullpen, I know you like Jordan Leisure.
Yeah. Also Mike Vassell.
Wickelman Gonzalez is another guy that struck some dudes out, but he also had walk issues this year. Yeah. So I don't know. There's like, Brandon Eisert maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would I even want to try and give Benintendi? Like, even if the White Sox ate like almost all of that contract, it's like, wouldn't you just roll with like Rayleigh and Robles and feel pretty good about that? So, like, not even that works. And you're not getting Shane Smith. Who's the other guy? Davis Martin. Like, not getting him. Yeah. There's a couple bullpen guys, and that's it on this team. Yeah. You're just better at every single position. And I mean, right now, without Naylor, you're still better at every single position than anything that they can offer you. So, aside from a couple of bullpen guys.
Yeah, and like if they trade one of Rayleigh or Canzone, the Mike Tauchman is a guy that I've liked for a couple of years now. He's just another one of those solid role players that I just become obsessed with for some reason. Yeah. He's my new Donnie Barrels this year, which means that if the Mariners get him, which means that if the Mariners get him, get ready for the 40 WRC plus Mike Tauchman season.
The White Sox really are the team that should sign Jared Kelenic and just give him 600 at bats in right field. Yeah. Yeah. Just be like, see what happens, Jared.
Yeah. Yeah. But Tauchman this year, 263, 356, 400, 115 WRC plus. The year before that, 110 WRC plus. And the year before that, 108 WRC plus. Like, just really solid hitter.
Kind of Seth Smith like.
Which means that he's going to inexplicably fall off a cliff if the Mariners trade for him.
It's not inexplicable. You just explained why it would happen. You like him. You have no eye for talent. So,
clearly, I have powers, bad, terrible, dangerous powers.
I mean, you should probably like really want the Astros to sign Dylan Cease, see if that works. or if it's only like Mariner related.
Sure.
But yeah, there's just not a lot on the White Sox. I do like Leisure. I do like Vassell, but I would like them more as like 7th inning guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to count them as like, oh, the Mariners added a high leverage arm today. Oh, who is it? Jordan Leisure.
I would like
high leverage.
Yeah, I would like for them to be like my like 5th or 6th option.
Yeah, like maybe they grow into like outside of your big 4, like they could be the 5th guy.
Yeah.
Ideally your 6th guy, but like we have to talk about the White Sox, so we just gave them 4 minutes. We stretched Leisure and Vassell into 4 minutes, so I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, look at us. We're professionals.
We are professionals.
That's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby, Patnode, I'm Tarik Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Tarik Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.